The two-part finale of Quantum Leap Season 2 aired on NBC on Tuesday, February 20th and is currently available to stream on Peacock. While the sci-fi show is yet to be renewed, the ending of Against Time opened a world of new possibilities for Ben and Addison. Believing she's about to die, Hannah, Eliza Taylor, the 100, reveals that she has written a code that will allow Ben to swap with another leaper. Addison steps into the accelerator to save her ex-fiancé, but the biggest twist occurs when she appears alongside Ben, rather than replacing him. Based on Donald P. Bellisario's original concept, Martin Gero and Dean Georgaris serve as showrunners and executive producers of the revival. Gero has worked on such titles as Blindspot and Stargate, Atlantis, while Georgaris is most well known for The Meg and Meg 2, The Trench. The main cast of Quantum Leap includes Raymond Lee as Ben, Caitlin Bassett as Addison, Ernie Hudson as Magic, Mason Alexander Park as Ian, and Nanrisa Lee as Jen. In honor of its conclusion, Screen Rant interviewed Martin Gero and Dean Georgaris about Eliza Taylor's pivotal role in Season 2 and what Quantum Leap's final scene means for Ben and Addison heading into the potential Season 3. Gero and Georgaris on Jeffrey's big reveal in the Quantum Leap Season 2 finale. Dean Georgaris: "We didn't when we first created her. We started with her. Something that we touched on a tiny bit in the first season, but I think wanted to explore more, was how the power of having someone know about time travel would allow, potentially, this woman that seems like she's just a love interest, to actually be the author of this important code. As we developed her story, we knew we wanted her to live a full complicated life, not to be in service to Ben. It made absolute sense for her to have a brilliant, scientifically oriented son. We're a bunch of writers sitting around in a room, so we pretty quickly go, well, wait a minute. What would happen if the son found out? We got there pretty quickly, but it was incredibly satisfying to finally let the audience see that and make that connection in the beginning of the last hour. Why did you feel that Jen's death, even if it was temporary, would be the most impactful?" Martin Gero: "It wasn't necessarily that her death would be the most impactful, but it made sense that she would be the one that would be in the most harm. She's the security expert and built that system. So if you're going to send anyone behind enemy lines, it made the most sense for it to be her. Ian would be back trying to run the second system. Also, she's a beloved character, they all are. But the math of where she would need to be and who would be in the most danger, I think that's why we chose her. Also, we knew that she was coming back. If we actually had to kill someone, it would be none of them. We'd have written in some character 3 episodes ago that we could actually kill, because we love our cast so much." There was a sense of closure between Ben and Hannah in the finale. Where do they stand in terms of their feelings for one another? Dean Georgaris: "I think closure is a good word. One of the beautiful things about the last hour, in particular, is, ultimately, all the help Hannah has given Ben in Leaps and the fact that she writes this swap code to bring him potentially back together with Addison. He helps save her son from the bitterness and pain of having lost his father. I think both she and Ben know, given this universe that they're occupying where there's this benevolent force for good driving them forward, I think they both realize this makes sense. This is a completion for our story. I understand why we got together now. Look at all the good we've done, and we've ameliorated the damage that we did in the process." The other theme of the season was sacrifice, and no one gets it for free. Hannah could return in Quantum Leap's future, thanks to Eliza Taylor. Eliza Taylor as Hannah burning a paper in Quantum Leap Season 2. Eliza Taylor was such a fun addition to the cast. Is it possible that we might see Hannah again in the future? Martin Gero: "It's possible only because Eliza is incredible, not only as an actress, but as a person. We all selfishly just want to keep working with her. As a story, I feel like this is it. It really is a round end. It was such a complex thing to thread, because we wanted them to fall in love, but by the end of the season, wanted it to be, like, okay, this is over. It's a rare thing on TV, especially network television, to be able to have this space to have a relationship that is really powerful and beautiful and not a forever love, and even, potentially, a polyamorous love. Hannah was in love with Josh, as well, and had a great full life with him, but always protected this space for Ben for the 7 or 8 days that they got to be with each other. It was just really interesting to us to try to arc it in a way where, at the end, I think she knows he's headed to Addison, and is trying to prepare both of them for that a little bit. In 212, she kind of is like to both of them, you guys know you're still in love, right? You know you're maybe meant to be? To have that be coming from her also has a power and a weight to it because of how much she loved him.